In this episode, Dale and Val speak to Nazanin Rajabi, who will be presenting at the Project Controls Expo virtual this September. She will be presenting about the importance of project control in petrochemical megaprojects. For more information, visit projectcontrolsexpo.com to grab a ticket to the expo. And for more in depth information on the podcast, visit projectchatterpodcast.com. Now, on with the pod.
Hi, Nazanin. Welcome to the show. Now, tell us, what can the delegates expect from your presentation on the importance of project controls in petrochemical mega projects?
The presentation title is about the importance of control project in petrochemical industry and especially in mega projects. And I'm going to focus on 5 important factors that every manager should take care about them. And somehow I'm going to talk about the mutual issues every mega project in petrochemical industry has, and maybe some recommendations for them.
No, that's fantastic. And so just digging into it a little bit deeper, project controls of petrochemical plants. I mean, that's not a very common project controls area. So it'd be really interesting to see how project controls is applied to petrochemical. Have you worked in other industries? Is it different at all? Or what can they expect from the petrochemical project controls area?
Somehow, it's different because the petrochemical industry is same as the oil and gas industry. The projects are almost so huge. They affect many people, the cultures, the regions, the countries, and it's almost many times they're the political projects. And because of that, they're really important. And maybe in my presentation, I'm going to start from the mega project and the mega. That is come from the Greek word that it means the huge and big, and the scientifically and technically it means the millions. But after 100 years, we know that the mega, it means billions, and the mega projects are the projects that cost $1 billion, pound, euros, or more.
Sure.
And nowadays we are, especially in petrochemical industry, we are going to have the giga projects and TRA projects that costs more. I think giga projects cost $50 to $100 billion, and TRA projects cost $1 trillion. And of course, the petrochemical industry is a very big and huge project.
Now you got me interested when you mentioned. I mean, I get mega projects, and I think a lot of the projects these days are mega projects. They're definitely worth hearing about at the presentation of Project Controls Expo. But now you're talking about very interesting areas where you've got $50 to $100 billion projects, and even the 1T. We are going to see that in our lifetimes, and that's very interesting. So you're going to go into detail about the complexities of could you imagine that, Dale? A $1 trillion program. And you're running the project controls team. Could you imagine how many complexities and moving parts there might be in that? Are you going to talk about which areas? You mentioned 5 steps. Can you give us a bit of a high level view of those 5 steps?
We have 5 important factors in every mega projects, especially in petrochemical industry, that we should take care about. The first of them is the human resource. It's really important to choose the expert people and committed people to control the projects, to do it on time. And the second one is the project implementation system. It's about the contracts, the EPC companies, or the conflicts between many companies, many people are helping us to do the project, and it's really important to have good relationships, to good contracts, and to do everything great that we can finish the project. And the third one is the environmental problems. Nowadays we have many news about the zero net problems, carbons, and the environmental problems, destructive effects on environments. It has many problems, and somehow we have even some regional cultural problems, because we are going to have a project in a place that different people, their culture, we can affect them, and we should take about them. Another one is the political problems, the necessary permissions, licenses that we know we have for the big jobs. And the most important one is about the cost and the time. It's about the cost overrun and overtime.
That is awesome. I love that there's 5 and you're going to outline them and you're going to go deep into them. That's amazing. It almost feels like you're doing a pest analysis or a pestle analysis for those that know the acronym, which is really cool. I don't know if we've ever had that conversation with anyone, Val, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with, Nazanin. I want to just dig a little bit deeper, and feel free to bat me off to say, no, you have to come to the expo to hear it. But you mentioned cultural problems, you mentioned political problems. Is there anything that you're willing to share on this particular teaser episode around some of the areas you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, as you know, in the country that I live or around of us, we have many political issues, and the political strategies will change. And when we have the mega projects, it's very complicated. Lots of money and lots of time. They may take even 10 years to be completed. And because of that, it's really, really important to have a good roadmap for them. And we should have the good visions, and we should know very well the culture, the strategies, because somehow if we overcost or over time, especially, we couldn't do the project anymore, because they are not necessary for the new governments or the new strategies, political strategies. So we have to finish the project.
Yeah, no, good points, good points. And I wonder if we just expand on that as well. You say, geographically, the culture and politics, etc. And you're talking about petrochemical. And then I begin to think, what about, climate change, and people are starting to talk about responsible project management, circular economies. Is that something you're going to bring into your presentation as well, as how us as controls professionals influence those types of aspects, global warming, etc., when we're working on petrochemical mega projects?
Yeah, petrochemical mega projects are really, really affected on global warming and environmental problems. And it's really important to take care, to have the rules, the global rules for them. And unfortunately, many of the mega projects that are running now they don't care about this. But we must take care about this, because it affects people, it affects the world and the future, the people of the future.
Absolutely. And when you mention the word future, I always think of Val, because he likes to talk about the future and AI and all that type of thing. So it's great. And, maybe future technology even influences petrochemical projects, because if we are going into, the end product, wherever it ends up, if we are going into renewables and things like that, it's quite an interesting space to be in as well. But Val, did you want to come in on that point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, Nazanin, if you want to talk about technology, definitely. Well, I'll just add to that. I think Dale's right. I think on these mega projects, surely, particularly petrochemical and oil and gas, we talk about profit. We know that profit's a really big focus for those companies and those organizations. Will you be touching on the new types of ways project controls can take advantage of technology and apply that in your industry?
Yeah, of course. The technology is one of the most important factors nowadays, because it helps the projects to have Could you hear me? I think that I have
Yeah.
another
Yeah, we can hear you.
internet problems. Yeah, because if we are not using the new technologies, we have again, I said that the cost overrun and cost overtime, and it causes millions of dollars of losses. And the new technology is must and help the projects to go faster and better. And of course, it really, really help for the environmental problems. It really could help. But now we don't have a rule, a must for the countries to use them. And because somehow maybe the new technologies costs more, they refuse the new technology, especially in Asian countries and the Middle East. And because of that, I think that we should work on it.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Thanks for that, Nazanin. And the other one, just real quick, obviously with mega projects, we talk, Nazanin, about managing the people, and you mentioned resources before, but what about the expectation that the shortage of resources, particularly specialists and experts, as you mentioned? How are you going to talk or touch on how resources really manage? I mean, you talk about cost overrun. One of the issues is not mobilizing the right people at the right time. Are you going to talk a little bit about that?
I think that there are 21 factors that I will mention in the presentation that will help us to, for example, let me say that, for example, the delays in the construction, in the contracts, and in the sources, and any delay in this project will cause millions of dollar losses. Or any conflict may cause this too. And it's really important we can manage the sources and help them to do their best and do not have any delay and conflicts are really important.
No,
Most
that's
of the
great,
mega projects have lots of conflicts in the contracts, in the people, in the companies.
They do, and I think it's good that you're bringing it to the awareness of Project Controls Expo, particularly for that industry where where it is mega and giga and beyond. We do need to get our ducks lined up. We do need to make sure that we have the political environment, the cultural environment, the technology all set up. We also need to make sure we've got the right resources. We need to make sure the contracts are adequate, and I think that's a big task for that particular industry, especially when we're talking about so many various factors. But look, I appreciate your time. Dale, any other questions?
No, I'm just looking forward to the presentation, Nazanin, because you're so specific with what you're talking about. Often we hear these wide-ranging topics, and you can go all over the show, but you're quite specific. You got your 5 factors. I'm really looking forward to it. And I know it's late, so thank you for joining us at this late hour. We look forward to
Thank you so much.
We look forward to your presentation at the expo.
Thank you so much.